What if the reason you feel trapped in the endless cycle of the rat race is not because you do not earn enough money, but because you have surrendered control of your mind to people who profit off your stress? Behavioral finance research generally shows that our spending behavior is heavily dictated by external triggers, not our actual internal needs. We are mathematically and psychologically engineered to want more, buy more, and owe more. You know the feeling. You wake up, grab an overpriced coffee on the way to work, and commute to a job that just barely seems to cover your rent, your groceries, and your climbing health insurance premiums. You check your banking app on Friday morning, see that direct deposit hit, and breathe a brief sigh of relief. But before the weekend is even over, that money is completely swallowed up. It goes to credit card minimum payments, the crushing weight of student loans, and that massive car payment for a vehicle you bought mostly to impress people sitting next to you in the exact same traffic jam. You feel like a cog in a giant, relentless machine. That machine is what we call the system. It thrives on your financial anxiety. It desperately wants you focused on keeping up with lifestyle creep, upgrading your phone every year, and financing your existence so that you remain entirely dependent on your very next paycheck. If you stop working for even a month, the whole house of cards collapses. To understand how to break out, you need to think of your financial life like a massive stone fortress in ancient Rome, and the system is the violent weather raging outside the walls. You absolutely cannot control the inflation rate at the grocery store. You cannot control the skyrocketing cost of housing, the interest rates set by the Federal Reserve, or whether your company decides to announce sudden layoffs. But you have absolute, unquestionable control over the gates of your own fortress. Stoicism is an ancient philosophy that many people misunderstand. It is not about suppressing your emotions or pretending you do not care about money. It is about radically separating what you can control from what you cannot. When you apply this ancient wisdom to your modern bank account, you stop trying to yell at the storm and you start building thicker walls. To escape the system, you must first build your financial fortress by disconnecting your ego from your consumption. The modern American economy is built on making you feel inadequate, so you will buy things to feel whole. The system wants you to believe that a high FICO score and a premium metal credit card make you successful. Even if you are secretly drowning in a revolving balance you cannot pay off every single month. The Stoic approach requires you to realize that wealth is built in the mind before it hits the bank. You simply do not need the branded clothes, the luxury apartment, or the constant dinners out to validate your existence. Your worth as a human being is not calculated by your net worth, and it certainly is not displayed by your liabilities. Once your ego is detached from your spending, you can build your first physical wall of defense, which is a proper emergency fund. I am not just talking about a little leftover cash in your checking account. This is a dedicated FDIC-insured savings account holding 3 to 6 months of your basic living expenses. To a Stoic, this is not just cash. It is literal peace of mind. It is your shield against the unpredictable chaos of life. When your car transmission suddenly breaks down, or your high-deductible health plan requires a massive out-of-pocket payment, an emergency fund turns a life-altering crisis into a minor, boring inconvenience. The Stoic does not live in fear of the future because the Stoic has aggressively prepared for it. Next, you have to completely remove human emotion from your financial future by automating your wealth building. The system heavily profits when you try to time the market out of greed, or when you panic, sell your investments out of fear during a recession. A Stoic investor does not obsessively check the daily stock market noise on their phone. Instead, you set up your financial life to automatically funnel a percentage of every single paycheck into your 401k, making sure you capture any employer match, and you consistently fund a Roth IRA if you meet the income requirements. You buy broad, diversified assets, and then you deliberately look away. You accept that market fluctuations, economic downturns, and political shifts are completely out of your control, but your consistent, automated contribution rate is entirely within your power. You control the input, and you detach from the daily output. Then, you must embrace the practice of voluntary discomfort. We are so incredibly used to immediate gratification in our culture that waiting for anything feels like a punishment. Next month, try a financial reset. Go 30 days without eating out at restaurants, cancel the streaming subscriptions you barely use, or delay buying any non-essential items. You do not do this because you are broke. You do this to prove to your own brain that you do not need these external comforts to be content. This deliberate discipline creates a massive gap between your income and your expenses. That gap, That beautiful space between what you earn and what you consume is the exact place where your freedom lives. If you can master this internal control, you will realize that wealth is built in the mind before it hits the bank. Picture your life 5 or 10 years from now if you ruthlessly apply this Stoic system. You are not necessarily driving a golden sports car or flying private, but you are sleeping soundly through the night. You do not feel a spike of panic when rumors of corporate layoffs start circulating at your job because you have a year of living expenses safely stored away. Your investments are growing quietly in the background without requiring your daily anxiety or attention. You go to work because you choose to, or maybe you negotiate fewer hours, because you are no longer terrified of missing a payment on a lifestyle you do not even enjoy. You have essentially bought back your time, your autonomy, and with it, your absolute freedom from the system. Escaping the rat race is not about getting lucky with a random speculative investment or finding a secret get-rich-quick loophole. It is about relentless, boring, beautiful discipline. It is about changing your internal philosophy so fundamentally that the manipulative traps of modern consumerism just look invisible to you. You stop being a consumer and start being an architect of your own life. I would love to hear how you are building your own financial fortress, so please let me know in the comments below what small change you are making this week to take back your control. And remember, this is general education, not personalized financial advice. Always check what makes sense for your own situation.